Welcome everyone to Oceanside, California for the 35th annual Race Across America. My name is Jim Corley, and today we are having the press conference for our Race Across the West. I'm going to introduce our athletes who are here today. To my left, starting right here, Andrew Willis from the United States, competing in the solo Race Across the West. Next to him, Sarah Cooper. And then going down the line here, we have Team Houndstooth Racing, sponsored by Ford from the United States, Mr. P.J. Lingley and George Thomas. Next to them is Team Golden Heart Senior Care from the United States, John Holtquist and Brian Kraus. And finally, Team San Diego Sports Medicine Zoka, Mr. Dean Wilcox here. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for the race. Primal Wear, XX2I Optics, Rudy Project, Feedback Sports, Scala Brewing, Visit Oceanside, the Durango Chamber of Commerce, the City of Annapolis, Mateo Tours, and Track Leaders, who are bringing live GPS coverage this year. Track Leaders is featured on trackleaders.com, and you can find live coverage of both the Race Across the West and the Race Across America on ridefarther.com. RAAM can also be found on Twitter at RAAM Races, RAAM spelled R-A-A-M, and on Facebook and Instagram at Race Across America. I'm going to start now with the soloists for the Race Across the West, starting here in Oceanside, California tomorrow, and going all the way to Durango, Colorado. Andrew Willis. You were in this race last year, and we were talking earlier, 130 miles in, lost about 11 pounds of fluid. Let's first talk about the extreme conditions of this race. A lot of people think that, it's just a shorter version of RAAM, but it's still quite a challenge.
As I learned last year, it's quite a challenge. And you start off here at the pier. I think last year it was about 65 degrees. The pier, by the time you get to the bike path 9 miles down, it's already 85 degrees, and you start climbing, and by the time I got to Palomar, 2 hours in, it was 105. And basically, 4 hours from the start, your body, when I dropped down to the Borrego last year, it was 126 degrees. So in about 4 or 5 hours, there's been a 60-degree temperature swing. And I've never felt anything like that coming down the glass elevator. About halfway down, this wall of heat hit me, and I remember it almost felt like the air had been taken out of my lungs, and then I got down into Borrego, and it just, everything went downhill from there for me.
What's been your preparation like this year, getting ready for this race and overcome some of those challenges?
That's a good question. Well, first off, we changed kit colors. Last year I was in all black with a black helmet, and it had no ventilation, solid black kit. So as you can see, I'm wearing lighter colors this year. We started experimenting with bags of ice and strategically placing them on me at other events that I entered last year, and learning how to keep my core temperature down. I started riding my trainer a lot more in my office and using space heaters and fans to simulate the heat. And basically learning how to drink 3 to 4 bottles an hour without getting any kind of swelling or edema. That's been my number one thing right there, is just learning how to drink, using ice to keep the core temperature down. And then finally, just my mentality. Last year I came into this, I've been a road racer, a criterium racer for years, and I definitely was treating this like a road race, and I went charging off into the desert, full bore. I was asking my crew for splits, and it's like, there's 700 miles, 800 miles to go. Why are you asking for splits? And I've learned since then that it's just really not how these races work. And you go out there and you try to have a good ride, you pace yourself, and it's either enough to get you to the finish line or it's not. It's either enough to get 4th or 5th place, or maybe you're the first person across the line. But really, you have to do your own race.
Someone who's got quite a bit of experience in the ultra distance is Sarah Cooper. She's raced in events in the Texas Time Trials, 24 Hours of Sebring, some of the greatest events, possibly the crown jewels in American ultra distance cycling. and then quite well there. Now you're bringing a lot of experience as well as your crew too, I understand.
Yeah, the crew is mostly their friends, so I'm really good friends.
Now, across the U.S., we've done events all over the place, but of course, this is your first time at the Race Across the West. Hearing Andrew talk about the temperatures is one thing, but the terrain as well, from here in Oceanside up to one of the steepest peaks on the West Coast, Palomar Mountain, which has been a feature highlight of the Amgen Tour of California in past years, and then through the American desert, up to Durango. And just the climbing and the terrain itself, how do you prepare for that type of extreme conditions, those sorts of changes in the road?
They're obviously on Iowa, but we do have a lot of climbing to be done in Iowa, so I train with power, and you can simulate a climb just by setting your training to a certain resistance and putting down the watts, and you just do that for however long you need to do. And I train on gravel roads, which have substantially steep grades. I ride a loaded house bike or a loaded fat bike and build a house bike. As far as the terrain, I'm not totally worried about the climbing, the amount of climbing for the mountains. I mean, that'll wear you down over time, but like you were saying, there's really the extreme temperatures and the shifts in temperatures. You go from 100 plus temperatures and then you get to Flagstaff and it's in the 40s. And so weathering that type of extreme has me looking so many.
That's a special type of exhaustion, but also, of course, in a race of this distance, sleep is an extraordinary factor as well. Do you have a sleep plan, or based on your experience, are you just kind of go down when you're tired? Is this something that you manage in a very clinical way, or do you race more by instinct and feel?
Well, we have a tentative plan, but not ever having done a race of this length before, it's just an educated guess as to how that's going to go for me. I have never had to sleep during a race. Every 500-mile distance race I've done without sleep. So we have a tentative plan as to when we'll go to first sleep, and we'll just have to play it by ear after that. We'd like to keep it minimal, 20-minute sleep breaks, and see how that goes. But again, we just have to see what happens when we get there.
Have you projected a finishing time for yourself? Do you have a goal to hit, or are you trying to hit the podium?
We have a rough estimate as to when I would finish. Whether that would put me on the podium or not, I don't know. I don't know how that relates to everyone else.
Awesome. Well, another group of people here to race, Team Houndstooth Racing, PJ Lindley and George Thomas, one of the most experienced competitors in Race Across the West and Race Across America. He's even sat in my chair a couple of times over the years. So it's interesting to have you on the other side of the mic today. I want to start asking you guys, got a couple of people here who've already mentioned the glass elevator, the climb over Palomar. We've talked about food, temperatures, sleep. But what about the fear factor? You guys have gone down the glass elevator before. What's that like? And tell us for the folks at home.
I have so many broken bones and brain injuries that PJ is doing everything where I get scared. So PJ, take it away.
So Montezuma, the glass elevator, is a great descent. In 2012 when I did RAAM, I didn't realize at the time after the race we got our computer plugged in and hit a max speed of 67. And I wasn't pushing. It's just easy to do. There's a nasty crosswind on the first turn. It's a left-hand turn. It's a really nasty crosswind. It's a thermal. So if you're ready for that, it's no problem. I don't think there's any fear involved with racing. It's just the mental preparation and the mental strength and knowing what you're getting into. My biggest fear with riding is letting my crew down, letting a fellow rider down, lack of preparation, anything like that. So we mitigate all that ahead of time. And I don't want to say fear is not an issue. It's always there, but it's not in the front of my mind.
And then for the climbs in Colorado, getting to Durango, I mean, by that point in the race, exhaustion, the legs are tired, the mind is tired. getting to that stage, but knowing that you're close to the finish, what's that like, and sort of how does it change? What's the difference in the experience of getting to Palomar and the glass elevator and still kind of riding on the high of adrenaline, and then getting close to the finish line and having that urging you on, but being that tired? Is it different?
It's totally different because your first climbs, you're controlling yourself and you're not letting anybody else dictate your race. And if you've ridden right, they're still not dictating a race at the end. You don't want to be the scared person out in front, even though PJ says there's no fear for him. I have plenty of it. You don't want to have someone else telling you or making you race in a way that you're not comfortable. It's really got to stay how you want to stick to your plan, even though the plan has to change, and you've got to be fluid. But at the end, I mean, you've got to be in race mode because you're going for the finish. But at the beginning, like I said, you've got to control that excitement. Your crew has to control the excitement. It's not just different for the racers, it's totally different for the crew as well because they want to get in.
Awesome. Talking about the fear of not letting anyone down and racing for something bigger than yourself, we have a team here today, Golden Heart Senior Care, John Holmquist and Brian Kraus. I've been told that you gentlemen are racing for something bigger than the finish line. Would you like to introduce that and what brings you here to Oceanside for Race Across the West?
Yeah, you bet. Thank you. Actually, she's right over there. Hi, Sophia. This is the first time we've met, and Sophia's a little girl who's in need of a service dog to help her with some issues that she has, and we're in a position to be able to create a little excitement around that and drive some attention to the support and hopefully getting her that dog. And go ahead.
So for people who want to help with this initiative and help Sophia with her service dog through your race, how can they reach you guys and make a donation?
Well, they can go straight to the RAAM site, where there'll be on the Facebook page, there'll be links there. I think that'd probably be the best place to go.
Okay. And it's Golden Heart Senior Care's RAAM Facebook page. Or
It's going to be, let's see, if you go to Google, and this is a little bit long, but super cheap signs, race for Sophia, right? Just Google that, super cheap signs, race for Sophia. We'll be able to get the word out. You'll find the landing page and a place to donate.
great. And how long have you guys been training for this? Do you feel ready for everything that these good people before you have talked about?
Absolutely not. So Brian has more experience in ultra events than I do. He dragged me along a couple of years ago on the Grand Traverse, which is a 12-hour trail run through the Colorado Mountains, which was a first-time kind of experience for me. Since then, I did a 24-hour mountain bike race, and that's really about it. So everything that we've learned has been, that I've learned after that, has been really vicarious through people willing to share their experience with us. And just try to get miles in and riding. I'm training in Austin, Texas, so the heat from there has helped a little bit, but from what I hear, it kind of pales in comparison to the reality of actually being on course.
Well, good luck to both of you. And finally, from Team San Diego Sports Medicine, brought to us by Zoka, representing the United States, Mr. Dean Wilcox here. His riding partner will be Robert Bernhard, who's not with us today. Dean, I want to ask you, what's your experience, and do you think it's ready or made you ready for this?
Oh gosh, I was part of a four-man RAAM team in 2014, and we've actually got part of the band back together, so I'm racing with my teammate Rob in 2014. Our crew has also done this with us, so we do as much preparation. What everybody talked about down the line, I'm thinking, oh God, they talked about that already. Oh, they talked about that already. So it's just, you go through the motions, you do your training, you do your planning. I personally have gone to a trainer to help me. We have a nutritionist. We go through all of those things. So we're ready. I mean, I've got to get on the bike now or tomorrow. Just go. I've been waiting too long now. There we go.
What's the difference, having been all the way across the country, taking it to Annapolis with a four-man team?
This is going to be a lot different, I think, personally, because with our rotation schedule with a four-man team, we were an entourage going across the country. 2 RVs, 3 sport vehicles, 17 crew members. We had a lot of effort, but the rotations are different. We would have 2 people on the road all at one time for 8-hour sessions. So I got 8 hours off and go down the road in an RV. This way, with these 2 of us, we're going to be on the road much more. It's going to be a little bit more intense. But both my teammate and I, we're ready for this. We train. We do have a little experience going through it. Rob, my teammate, did a RAAM back in that '94 also. So he's a little better.
Well, it sounds like everyone on the teams has their work cut out for them. Andrew, Sarah, best of luck to you guys in the solo competition. It looks to be fast and furious this year. Race coverage will start tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific time. We'll also be starting the RAAM solos at that time as well. Please join us on ridefarther.com or at raceacrossamerica.org. Once again, we'd like to thank all our sponsors and our athletes here today for coming out to participate in this. Good luck to all of you. Ride fast, ride safe. For Race Across America, I'm Jim Gorley. Thanks for joining us. We've got our RAAM solo press conference coming up shortly. Thank you very much.